Let's get to the theatres now as Nollywood begins to throw out love-themed titles ahead of the Valentine season. We'll take you to the premiere of a steamy love lockdown in Lagos, Southwest Nigeria.
Dangling bubbles and rose petals over a red carpet captures the typical Valentine mood as Trino Pictures presents its 2025 romantic title, Love Lockdown, as a Lagos premiere. The cast and crew turn up with other invited guests to get a first look at the movie that throws back to the pandemic year. Written by Anthony De Lola during the COVID-19 lockdown, the movie chronicles the temptation, betrayal, and ultimately love that characterized the never-navigated pandemic and associating lockdown.
Here comes the ride. Just promise me that this weekend will be lit, okay?
That I can definitely promise. It's my bachelorette and it only happens once.
Bring her back in one piece, I beg.
Yeah, it's an emotional roller coaster. Definitely an emotional roller coaster because on one hand, you've got your fiance and you've got what you pictured your happy ever after to be. And then you've got, I suppose, the love of your life who you thought the feelings were put to bed. And then you're trapped in a situation where you're together for a long period of time and you remember why you were together in the first place. And you kind of think, what, you're torn. Like I said, it's an emotional roller coaster. What do I want? This love story is like no other because, again, it's in lockdown. Like, I can't think of any other situation where you're going to be trapped in a house with the former love of your life, unable to leave. No one's able to leave. Normally, if someone wants to remove themselves from a situation, they can do that. In this, they can't. So you're forced to go through those emotions, be in each other's faces. So for Valentine's, yeah, it's fitting because it's a great love story. But at the same time, this is not just another love story. This is totally unique in its setup, in its circumstance, and in its outcome as well.
Andrew Yor Bunting returns to Nollywood after an impressive outing in Tiwa Savage's Water and Gary last year. In this movie, he plays this man locked in love and temptation in the completely steaming movie.
And there's only one option left. You could just stay at my place.
I'd love to hear what your fiance would say about that.
If she doesn't know, there's nothing to worry about.
Yemi is one of those guys, I feel like I hope, that tries to do the best by everyone that he holds dearly. But unfortunately, just like that, it doesn't really, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. You try to do the best by everyone and you might not win, but that's life. I think the fact that it was during lockdown, I think lockdown was like a big event in world history. And I know that I was, like I said, we've all been in relationships before, and definitely during lockdowns. I felt like this is something that people could relate to, you know.
Opposite him are Chidera Makata and Jones Detola, a current fiancé and an ex that got trapped in the same house with him over the lockdown. Their characters all having their own inside story to tell in a broader story that looks at the truth and alternative truth.
You know, I still have a few hours until my flight. Do you want to?
Temptation is a very strong emotion, and if you let it, you would win, basically. But the story, it kind of did win. A little bit, I don't know, I don't want to say it's a little bit bad, but what happened, life happened basically. It is what it is, exactly.
Yeah, a few things really. It's kind of hard for you to get a character that you are all human beings have certain similarities. So there is definitely a few things that I have in common with the character Zainab. Getting the script, reading it, I thought, I like her. That's how I felt about it. When I read the script and, I knew who my character was, I'm like, I like her. So that's what I felt in the moment. And as the similarities that I have with Zainab is a very strong girl. She's a very strong woman, right? She's very driven. She's very ambitious. She's very hardworking. And those are the things that I admired about her. Very unapologetic, though. I wish I had that level of unapologeticness. That's not a word. But yeah, I wish I had that. I wish I could steal that from the character. But yeah, that is basically Zainab in a nutshell.
Coming off the back of an impressive outing with the award-winning and Tribeca Festival chosen The Weekend, Love Lockdown offers Trina an opportunity to engage the love road, a complete detour from the dark thriller theme of The Weekend.
Well, it was a lot. My actors were great, you know, each and every one of them. The crew, they were great, so it was a lot of fun on set. I think one of the challenges we had was, I think it was the house we shot in. The house was from hell. Like, everything that could go wrong in that house went wrong. So yeah, I think that was one of the hardest things that happened when we were shooting here.
What makes this different? We've done a romantic drama before, and that was called The One for Sarah. It's currently on Netflix. But this is a little more sensual. It's situation based. It's set in the time of COVID. That's one. It's a little more for a matured audience, just because it has a lot of sensual scenes. A little risque in a couple of places, but apart from that, I mean, every project is different. Every film is different. So, in its totality, I would say, in story, performances, the situation, that's what makes it different.
In the end, the movie tells the story around the lives of individuals navigating relationships during an unprecedented global crisis, raising conflicts that test bonds, collides hearts, and eventually redefines love.
That dreamed of a future for us.
What dream were you dreaming when you got engaged to someone else?